funding should definitely be used for better things, such as caring for people with disabilities. The National Economic and Social Rights Initiative states that there are over 101,000 preventable deaths due to the way the healthcare is organized. There are also 700,000 families that go bankrupt, and 3/4 of them are insured. So that's a huge amount. And then the National Conference of State Legislators states over 1 million kids won't graduate with their peers from when they enter 9th grade to senior year. Either they will drop out or they'll be held back or whatever happens. And over 7,000 kids drop out every day. When they drop out, they lose $260,000 in their lifetime, because if you graduate, that's how much more you make. But those kids also cost billions of dollars in expenditures of uninsured health issues and crime-related issues because they're at-risk students. And knowing some at-risk students, that's a huge thing. And they're at risk, they're actually considered to have a disability, so we need to be taking care of those kids too. The money is needed, hardcore, sorry for that word, but that's the truth. I see families come in at the ARC where I work, which is daycare for people with disabilities, and some of them are in not rags, but they're not dressed nicely, and they're paying to bring their kid here. The CDC says that there are assistive technologies that help the people engage, and they make daily life a lot easier. We have a kid who's in a wheelchair. He has a talker that you can connect, but he also has a feeding tube. He can't talk, he can't do anything for himself. And that's a lot of money between all the wheelchairs and the technology needed to take care of him. Also, if the parents don't have a place to take their child, they're kind of stuck. They can't work because they don't have a way to take care of their kid. Some kids don't ever leave home. I had a cousin with special needs, and he didn't leave home, and my great aunt didn't work at all. So if they can't work, they can't make money. So they need our help for that. However, there are people, like at the ARC we have respite and private pay. And respite is when you're not working, the government is paying for you. And when you are working, you have to pay for yourself. And that's one thing that really bothers me, because you're paying to have your kid there while you're at work, but then there's families who don't work and they don't have to pay. And that's not okay. There are parents who work from when we open at 6:30 to when we close at 6. They work that whole time, and they are paying that whole time. Or if they don't write down their work hours, we have to charge them for the whole day. And that's a lot of money. Then there's also the safety issue. The ARC that I work at has a whole bunch of information online that says the rates of abuse range from 22 to 70% in children with disabilities. And it's variable, but 70% is really high. 1/3 of kids who are enrolled in special ed will be victims of maltreatment, which includes neglect, physical or sexual abuse, but only 1 in 10 normal kids will suffer that same thing. If they have a disability, they are 3.44 times more likely to suffer some type of abuse. The CDC states it's important for families to teach how to stay safe and what to do if they feel threatened at all. So we have a thing called SCL, which is supported community living. We take kids to work on their goals, whether it be to keep personal space from others, to talk to others, to stay safe on the highway, because I had a kid who drops down, does some push-ups in the middle of the road. Like, they can't be doing that. So we work with them to train on that. And there's also classes that work on life skills. I went for field experience in one of those classrooms, and they were working on telling what money is what, how to tell time, how to tie your shoe. Just simple things like that these kids need help with. There are high-functioning kids. We have an 8-year-old in a class with people above 16 because he's high-functioning, which is okay, but he still has goals he needs to work on. So that type of stuff is very important. So there's also mandatory reporting that if you're in education like I am, you have to go through, or if you work at the ARC, you have to go through. If you suspect any type of abuse, you have to report it. And I think that's really good because it's keeping an eye on everyone and everything. And I know even in swim lessons back home, I reported someone. Just that type of stuff, you have to constantly be aware. And these kids need to be safe because we walk by people and some people just look and you can tell what they're thinking, but you don't know how they're going to react, so you need to take care of them. Then there's education. So in 2013 to 2014, 13% of all public schools are enrolled in some type of special education. That's 6.5 million students. Of those students, 35% are specific learning disabilities. According to the same place I got that, it says specific learning disability is a disorder in one or more psychological processes involved in understanding or using language that affects basically all of our daily stuff. Thinking, speaking, reading, writing, spelling, or even doing math calculations. The IDEA, which is a huge, like Section 504 in the IDEA, are all rules and regulations for people with special needs. And they mandate provision of free and appropriate public school education for people 3 to 21. So that is one way that our government is being amazing and helping, but that's not enough. We need to do more than that. We need to take care of our kids. They deserve the correct education. The families need us. And we need to train and protect the people with disabilities and those that care for them, because not all kids that need special ed are put in special ed. And if that happens, the general education teachers have to take care of them. So if they're trained well, then the children should succeed, and that's all we can really do for those kids. But they need our help to begin that. Thank you.